Keep on coming. I'll tell you when to stop. How's that?
Can you break it?
Oh. No. You can't remember?
No.
I think you just pro. Can I just move this?
I'll take care of it. Don't lay it against the wall. Holy cow, this thing's big, eh, guys?
It's the wrong color, Rod. You didn't have to paint it.
By the way, you guys are going to be on YouTube.
The wrong color green, Rod. You're going to have to paint it, eh?
It's Saturday, first Saturday in November, can't remember the day. And I got the Grizzly milling machine this far. You can see I've been moving it sideways on the pallet, and my plan is to cut the pallet in half and then use the engine crane to lift the milling machine up, pull the pallet out of the way and drop the milling machine down. Anyway, fun job. It's kind of tight quarters in here, so I'm not sure how the picture's coming out, and I'll take some more pictures later. As can be seen, I've taken out a chunk of the pallet that the miller was running on, and I'll be removing that piece that you see there pretty quickly. Then I can put the engine hoist in there and pick up the, hopefully pick up the mill by the eye bolt. Well, I've moved it back on the pallet, as you can see, and it's a kind of small room, so it's kind of hard to see. And anybody who wants to make comments about my rope holding the thing up, you're welcome to. You're right. It isn't a good idea, but what I did was I used the rope to just take a little bit of the weight off, and then you can see the pry bar down there, the yellow thing. And I used the pry bar to just skid it back on the pallet. You can see how far back it is. So I'm going to hook it up to the eye, and hopefully I can just lift it right up and rip that pallet right out of there. So that's the plan, Stan. Let's get to it. I forgot to start recording because I was really interested in just getting this thing on the ground. So it's on the ground, but I can tell you my nervous system was going crazy. Yeah, it's on the ground. So I'm going to be putting it more against that wall and to the right, close to the, let's just see if I can see this, close to that little shelving unit. So that's where the plan is to stick it, and I'm going to fold up the engine hoist, and then we'll look at see how I'm going to move the damn thing. I've moved the milling machine just a little bit. I actually had the head standing up, and had the column full back to see what the back depth is, which is 14 inches. So I have to be 14 inches from that green door, just a little bit more. I have marked it. Well, I put a piece of 1/8 inch plywood, and it's got a vinyl coating on it. So that's the white plywood you see there. And I'm going to just try to attempt to move the guy back on rollers. I think it's going to work really good on rollers, and we'll give her a try. Anybody wants to know what the cloth and the angle iron is for, is I don't want to scratch my milling machine. And I don't want to hear any laughter about it. But I just, you know. And actually I have to thank somebody on YouTube. I forget who it was, but I was watching a lot of different channels, and the fellow said he moved everything in his shop with pipe. So this is my first time moving anything with pipe, and we'll give her a shot and see how she goes. Well, I've done some maneuvering around on the milling machine. I've got it to this location, which I believe is going to be the final location. I put it about an inch further to the left than what I had originally planned, because I didn't realize how big this footprint was. So I'm going to go through the process of raising the head. It's laying at about a 70-degree angle right now, and that is one of the heaviest parts of the machine, and it is a grunt job, so you'll be able to hear me grunt and see what has to go through to raise the head. They say you should always help on YouTube, different people's channels. They say you should always help this ram in raising the head. Damn, it's a heavy as fuck. Another grunt. As mentioned, that's where the milling machine will sit in the workshop. The little black thing you see in the corner, that's the hose for the compressed air, which the compressor comes from another part of the building. So, and that's right, just to the right of the milling machine, right in the corner. Oh, this is what we call the south wall. That's my workbench. And the brown band that you see there, that is known as a French cleat. And the green things are tool holders or whatever I want them to be. And so they work like this. If I don't want this thing located at this point, I just pick it up and I move it to another point. So it's got a little section on it with a V-cut in. So I can move it throughout this building and the bigger workshop. This one's about 250 square feet. The main shop is about 1,200 square feet. I've got this on a tripod, so I'm moving around. I think if you've looked at any of my videos, you would have seen that's my 10 by 12 jet, 10 by 20 jet lathe with the variable frequency drive, so I can change the frequency and the speed. If I want to speed it up, I speed it up. If I want to slow it down, I slow it down. It's all electronic speed control. And I made the stand myself. The stand was made 2x2 steel with 1/4-inch plate top. And I've got the accessories for the lathe into the drawers here. So that is totally complete. I got it out on some wooden blocks. At this point, I don't know if this is where it's going to be home forever or not. So this, the workbench, the green workbench, I can't see the view here, but I think I'm okay. This has to be relocated, and I'm not exactly sure where. The size of the milling machine sort of got me very rich. I didn't realize it was going to take that much floor space. Just wanted to mention, because I'm sure people are going to be asking, I have a lot of outlets, power outlets on the wall. These brownish ones are 240 volt 15 amp. These round black ones are 240 volt 30 amp. The standard household style is 120 volt 20 amp. So there's 14 outlets on that wall, and people say, why'd you put 14 in? And the reason is that putting in electric outlets when you're rewiring something is so cheap when you do it. So to put it in might have cost me $100 bucks for materials, about $100 for the materials, and I made the green wooden frames around those black outlets. But if I only had 1 or 2 outlets and you want a 240 volt outlet to be put in, well, now you have to rip through your gyprock again, you have to wire it in, and it looks like not good, and the gyprock costs a lot more to do than putting in the outlets. So yeah, this was, I redid this wall, and I cover all my tools with tarps, but I've got 200 amps at that panel right there, and there's also a 50 amp outlet below it for the arc welder. So this is the north side of my shop. That's a 60 amp electrical panel. You can see the electric heat. The gray box up above that holds welding electrodes and, well, anything to do with welding, extra welding cables, etc. And it's my little Lincoln 180, which they sell through Canadian Tire. They call it the MIG Pack 15. It comes with a couple other accessories. And it is the 100, I guess it's a 175. So it's not a Lincoln 180, it's a Lincoln 175. It's a few years older. This is the, oh, I should say about welding. People, all my welding that I do outside. Go outside, I weld outside, I grind outside. I won't grind in the shop or weld in the shop. Everything is done outside. I'm terrified of fire, and I want to keep my place nice, really nice and clean and neat, etc. So that's the way I like the shop. And this is a power bandsaw. I had one of those little 4x6s, and I could never keep the blades on it. And a friend of mine down the street who is a welder, he got it from me, and we did a trade. He got it from me, and I told him I can't keep the blade on the darn thing. And he said, well, I can fix that. Well, he's never been able to keep the blade on it. And talking about welding, people ask how good a welder I am, and I keep telling them, you know, there's nobody in this world that can weld like I do. And they look at some of the benches that are welded up and everything, and they say, how did you do such good welding? And I say, I didn't. And I can't weld with a hoot. I take it down to my friend down the street and let him weld it. So this is a 13 by 40 lathe, and This lathe I bought brand new 4 years ago. It's never been used. I don't like the stands that they come on because stands are made that you buy lathes on. You either have to bolt to the floor, which I really didn't want to do, or I take chances that the lathe is going to fall over. An old timer told me if a lathe is going to fall over, it's coming towards you. And if you jump out of the way, it'll smash everything on the front and the controls and everything. So I built, I cut out the pieces and had my welder friend weld it up for me, the stand. And it's a skookum stand. That lathe will not flip over. I've got on casters right now because this is not the final resting spot for it. I think most of my tools are going to be changed around now with the addition of the milling machine. I haven't used it. One thing is about me is I really like to have my tools really nice and neat, and I really like tools, so I spend a lot of time just building tools. So this thing is, like you say, on casters. The jet lathe that you saw, it had the drawers. Well, I have to build the 6 drawers for this, and that's all. And once I get the 6 drawers built for this unit, this lathe is finished. And the spot beside the lathe and the door, that spot is going to be reserved for the drill press, or maybe I've got a South Bend shaper on a stand, and it might go there, but I think I can't see ever using the South Bend shaper. I just like to turn on and watch it go back and forth, so I think I'll probably put it for sale. The fire extinguisher, right beside the fire extinguisher, that little vent that you see coming out there, that comes from the bake shop, which is wood heated, and I have up at the ceiling on the other side above, I have a fan system, squirrel cage fan blower, and it blows the heat down through a pipe and into here when I got the wood stove on. So I can actually heat this room with the wood stove as well. Otherwise I keep it shut. Now a lot of people, friends of mine, are saying, why do you have all this equipment and you haven't used any of it? And why did you buy a milling machine when all you do of that nature, when all you do is hobby work? And I guess I just like building things. I like to do things, and yeah. And we buried another friend the other day, and I buried a friend 3 weeks ago, and you retired, and well, you know, you only live once. So anyway, thank you for visiting my shop, and I know it was started off just talking about the Grizzly, but yeah, have a good one, guys.